Horizon Zero Dawn is set in a post-apocalyptic world where robotic creatures roam the land and humans live in primitive tribal societies. The game introduces us to a young girl named Aloy. She is an orphan and is raised by a man named Ross. Both Aloy and Ross are outcasts of a tribe called the Nora. As outcasts, they are able to live on the land, but members of the tribe are not allowed to speak with them. One day, Aloy falls into a cave and discovers a device called a Focus. This device allows her to scan and interact with machines and ancient technology. Growing up, Aloy was always curious about her parents. She asked Ross about it, but he does not know about her origins. The village matriarchs entrusted Ross to raise Aloy when she was just a baby. As outcasts, they're not able to speak with the matriarch and ask for the information. Ross tells Aloy that if she wins the proving, a competition held by the Nora, then she can ask the matriarchs about her parents, and so Aloy begins training for the proving. The night before the proving, she encounters two characters that are important to the plot. The first is Olin, another person who is also using a focus. The other is Erend, the captain of the vanguard of the Sun King of Meridian. Both Erend and Olin are there to observe the proving. The next day, Aloy wins the proving, but the celebrations are interrupted when they are attacked by a cult group known as the Eclipse. She noticed that the attackers are also using focus. During the attack, Ross sacrifices his life to save Aloy. After Aloy recovers from the attack, she speaks with the Nora matriarch. We find out that she was found as a baby in front of a metal door inside the tribe's sacred mountain, which they call the All-Mother. The inside of the mountain looks similar to the cave where she discovers her focus. She tries to gain entry into the door, but was unable to do so because of the corruption. Wanting answers, Aloy begins a journey to clear the corruption and pursue the Eclipse who attack the Nora. The only clue Aloy has to go by is Olin, the person she met with a focus. She goes to Meridian to enlist Erend's aid in tracking Olin down. While in the city, Aloy uncovers and stops a plot to overthrow the king of Meridian. This earns her the favor of the city's ruler. Aloy tracks Olin down but is surrounded by the Eclipse. However, she is saved by Sylens, who speaks to her remotely via her focus. Sylens disables the focus of the Eclipse, distracting them and allowing Aloy to defeat them. From here, Aloy learns a few important things. The Eclipse all have focuses, and they are all connected to a network. They are under the command of a robotic voice named Hades. Hades recognizes Aloy through Olin's focus. Hades immediately considers Aloy to be a threat and sends the Eclipse to kill her, which is why they attack the Nora tribe. Sylens leads Aloy to investigate ancient ruins. These ruins contain metal doors, similar to the ones found inside the All-Mother. All the doors use DNA to verify access. Aloy's DNA is a match for a person named Elizabeth Sobek, and she is granted access. Inside these ruins, we learn more about the history of the world. In the past, a company named Pharaoh Automated Solutions created war machines that were capable of self-replication and consuming biomass for energy. Unfortunately, the machine had a bug causing them to go out of control. The machines consume any biomass they could find and continuously replicate, essentially making them unstoppable. There is an override code that could disable the machines, but it would take years before it could be decrypted, and by then, life on Earth would have all been consumed by the machines. A scientist named Elizabeth Sobek successfully proposes and leads Project Zero Dawn. The purpose of this project is to preserve life and rebuild it after the machines are disabled. At the core of Project Zero Dawn is Gaia, an AI that will oversee the entire project. Gaia has multiple subordinate functions, such as overseeing the decryption of the machine override and building the towers to broadcast them, as well as cloning facilities to create new humans from stored genetic material. What the Nora tribe calls the All-Mother is actually one of these cloning facilities. In addition, there are also terraforming functions to make Earth habitable again and functions to recreate plant and animal life. There is also another function that stores human knowledge and history that will gradually introduce this knowledge back to the new humans over time. And most importantly, is another subordinate AI called Hades. Hades' function is to take over the project only if anything goes terribly wrong with the terraforming process. Hades will destroy everything, and once this is done, return control of the project back to Gaia. This will allow Gaia to start again with a clean slate. Just before Project Zero Dawn is completed, the head of Pharaoh sabotages it, destroying the human knowledge stored in the system and kills all the leaders of the project. Despite this, after many years, Gaia was successful in deactivating the Pharaoh war machines and restoring Earth to a habitable state. Humans were reintroduced but did not have the knowledge passed on to them, which explains why the humans in the game now live in a primitive culture. Just before the start of the game, Gaia detected a transmission that caused Hades Hades to go rogue. Gaia self-destructed her core in an attempt to stop Hades. This does not stop Hades, but does severely cripple its abilities. Before the self-destruction, Gaia creates a clone of Elizabeth Sobek, who we now know is Aloy. Gaia hopes that Elizabeth's genes will grant her access to the project's facilities. Aloy also gains access to a master override which she can use to stop Hades using Elizabeth Sobek's system privileges. After learning all of this, Silence tells Aloy that he was actually a founding member of the Eclipse. He was responsible for building the Focus Network, allowing the Eclipse to communicate via their focus. Once he completed the project, Hades turned on him. Luckily, he overheard the command and was able to escape. Since he made the network, he has a backdoor, allowing him to intercept their communications, and is also why he was able to disable their focus earlier in the game to save Aloy. Silence explains to Aloy that Hades is planning to take control of the Spire, which is located near Meridian. The Spire is actually a broadcast antenna for the Pharaoh machine override. Aloy warns the Meridian King of the attack, and together with the Nora warriors, they repel the attack and defeat Hades using the Master Override. In a post-credit scene, Hades reactivates but is captured by Silence. Silence plans to interrogate Hades for information such as the origin of the signal that activated it.